The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness, like, share, subscribe. Chat's on fire, burning the world fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light. Jumping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness, like, share, subscribe. Chat's on fire, burning the world fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What up, YouTube? Welcome back to Dolly Vision. Okay, tonight we're going to be talking about the things that the Rcmp don't want you to know. To me, there's already 4 prime suspects, and we're going to talk about that here tonight. But first, I'm going to need your DNA all over that like button. So take 1 second so I don't have to say this a million times tonight. Hit that like button and sub up. We're almost to 66,000 people. And we're doing a huge giveaway to one of our lucky subscribers. At the end of August, we're giving away an iPhone 16 brand new. So if you're subbed up, you're already entered to win it. If you're not, sub up the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform you choose. Now, this Jack and Lily case, we're going on 3 weeks. These kids missing without a trace. But some stuff has come out, and I believe they are closing in on their suspects. But let me give my warnings first. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact. Just my opinion, people. Completely satire. The caller's opinions are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on the Dolly. Everyone's innocent to proven guilty in a court of law. And the biggest one of them all, don't try to be damn Dolly at home. Okay? So over the last 3 weeks, we've been curious of what could have happened to these kids. Now, if you live in a cave, Jack and Lilly Sullivan went missing 3 weeks ago, Pictou County, Nova Scotia, Canada. 8 o'clock in the morning was the last time the kids were allegedly seen. They are believed to have slipped out a sliding back door of a mobile home that sat in a rural area in the middle of the woods. Nobody around. Neighbors pretty good distance away, and these kids completely vanished without a trace. The Canadian Mounted Police, they did a thorough search of the woods all around the house, did not find one drop of evidence that led them to believe these kids were in the woods. Just recently, the latest news to come out in the situation was that the mounted police were going around to the neighbors 3 weeks went by before they went asking neighbors for video footage. 3 weeks. Okay, let me repeat that. 3 damn weeks before they asked for any footage from the neighbors. This is footage that should have been gained on day 2. Okay, day 1 they probably should have got out there searching like they did, but by day 2 they should have been sending investigators around to all the neighbors searching their video cam footage, ring doorbells, or anything like that. Seeing what vehicles were owned by the neighbors and their families. They waited 3 weeks to do this. Now, to me, that is dropping the ball. Now, I've been getting a lot of messages because, I read every message, and people being like, stop giving the Canadian Mounted Police such a hard time. You're absolutely welcome, and we're going to speak on that reward in just a minute. You think you're smarter than the Canadian police. I've never said that. I've never said that I was smarter than the Canadian police. I just see areas where I believe they have dropped the ball. When another place they possibly dropped the ball was when Daniel said, hey, I want to take a lie detector's test. They should have had him down there immediately. They should have had his brother down there, his mother down there, and of course, malehya. Okay. To me, there's only 4 suspects in the disappearance of this kid, and this is just my opinion. That is malehya, number 1, right? Number 1 prime suspect in the disappearance of these kids would have to be the mother, okay, malehya. The number 2 suspect, which I believe that these people may be in on this together, is Daniel, the stepfather of these children. Prime suspect number 3 would have to be Daniel's brother, who's acting kind of strange and hasn't spoke out and done any media, hasn't said anything on the case, laying very low, and of course, Daniel's mother. All 4 of these people were at this home when these children went missing, which is completely unacceptable. It's not like one parent dropped the ball. It's not like 2 parents dropped the ball. We had 4 family members on that property that did nothing. Failed these children completely. Why are they not arresting these parents for some type of neglect and holding them to one person talks? I have to say that right now, the mounted Canadian police are felling Lilly and Jack. They never issued an Amber Alert. They never believed they were gone, right? They never really believed they were in the woods, even after the first week. Okay, they scaled these searches back. They didn't want to search the woods no more. They believed that Jack and Lilly wasn't there. No Amber Alert, no more search in the woods. They waited 3 weeks to look for any kind of footage that may indicate that there was an abduction or a strange vehicle in the neighborhood. Okay, listen, I'm not from Canada, but this is completely unacceptable on any kind of level. This is just as bad as Tennessee police, if not worse. Now, listen, we here in America, we look at the Tennessee or the TBI as the worst agency in the whole damn country. Okay, everywhere else seems to be able to solve crimes, find children, find missing people, but for some reason, Tennessee can't get the job done. All right, and it seems like this, there's other children that went missing in Canada, not far from there, and have never been found. So is this going to be another case where it's not been found? And listen, the Canadian police don't even want you talking about this. They have made threats to internet people to be quiet, right? Are they trying to sweep this under the rug? It's not getting much media attention in Canada. The only people really keeping this alive nationally are YouTubers. What the RCMP don't want you to know is they're felling in this case. They need to reach out for some help and bring in some people that are familiar with these types of crimes. To me, already there should have been an arrest in this case if it was even a simple child neglect arrest. You know, the basic definition of child neglect is leaving your child unattended. Now, we know that Jack and Lily was left unattended. Strange situations that don't make sense. So many red flags. You bring the parent in one time and you talk to them. That's not enough. You need to keep bringing them in. You need to be looking for inconsistencies. If the parents are lying, you need to let the public know the parents are lying, right? Because right now we're in a situation where Malehya is saying that the police have told her not to say nothing. Not to say nothing. Not to have any contact with Daniel. Did they tell her not to look for a kid? We need some transparency here. This ain't your normal case. Now, I know Canadians say, well, our police keep it tight to the vest. This is 2 kids. Anywhere else in the fucking world, this would be huge headlines. Listen, one blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid goes missing here in America. The whole internet blows up. Every media station's running it. America's Most Wanted. And right now, there's no American stations running really anything on Jack and Lily. There ain't very many Canadian stations running things on Jack and Lily. This is actually unheard of. Like, I can't even believe it. Just because this happened in a small province in a rural area and the police don't have anything, it's like the police don't want the backlash from the public. They don't want the pressure put on them. But here's the thing. If you can't handle the heat, get the hell out the kitchen and bring in some people that can cook, right? Because right now, I mean, when somebody said, Dolly, you think you're smarter than the Canadian police? I absolutely don't. So I thought, to help out the situation, let's put up some money. Let's try to get some people talking. It got some people talking all right. Already. Phone lines blowing up. But not with legitimate tips, guys. So I checked all the phone lines today to make sure nothing came through that was legitimate, that needed to be reported to the Pictou County Police or to the Rural Canadian Mounted Police. It was a bunch of crazies that have called me. Listen, if you're out there and you psycho, please do not call my number. And please do not call my number with 50 messages of the same stupid bullshit. Okay? Because I have to go through that and vet those calls, listen to those calls, just in case it's something important. And if you cannot make a fucking sentence, right? If you can't complete a whole sentence, do not call my damn tip line, my call-in number. Don't leave a message for me. Don't leave a tip. Don't do any of that because I cannot stand to listen to fucking weirdo, crazy people. Okay? So if you're weird and crazy, all right, and when you're crazy, call my phone line. You call it once. You leave one message. One. If I look up there and there's 30 messages from the same person that's watching my show and trying to talk to me like it's a call-in at the same, you've lost your mind. Okay? You've lost your mind. I listened to some of the craziest shit you could ever imagine today. Now, there was people that called in and left a message that was like, it was a man from the area and said, Dolly, you got this wrong. You're believing this guy that called in and he's not accurate, right? And this person was pretty much defending the family. So now I don't mind a message like that. That's a good message. Like I listened to your message. I took into consideration. I thought about what you said and things like that. But when you calling me talking about, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Yeah, Canada, yeah, whoa. And I had to listen to that shit for 20 minutes. And then the next message is you again, right? I feel bad for the police and what they have to deal with when they put up a tip line. Okay, because I'm sure they get it worse than I got it. And it was just message after message from people that are mentally ill. Okay, I'm just saying, like mentally ill people, please call a psychiatrist. Does my face look like a psychiatrist? I can't write you a prescription. Okay. I can't. I ain't a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm like, oh my God. You know, we have a comment box under the video for a reason. You can leave 30, 40, you can leave 150 crazy comments under this video. I don't care. It helps us in the algorithm. Okay. If you are nuts, right? If you licking the walls or the window, or you're eating glue sticks, okay, or you ate lead paint as a baby, just leave messages. I read those too. Okay. I read those too. And they help the channel. It boosts us in the algorithm when you leave messages. That's why I tell you guys to leave messages and like the video, right? But you know, when you call that phone line, it don't help the channel. It don't help my insanity. It don't help none of that. It don't help none of that. And it's damn sure not helping this case. So I'm glad somebody brought up that reward. Now, if you know something that could lead us to these children, of course, I'm willing to pay you up to $5,000 for that information. Okay. But I got to go through 72 phone calls of crazy ass people to get to one decent human being that just wants to leave a message. Okay. So please stop if you out there and you drinking or you on drugs, because it's nothing worse than having to listen to 30 phone calls from a drunk woman. Okay. And I'm hoping you were drunk, because if you wasn't, there ain't no excuse for the shit you said. Okay. And I almost want to play some of it for you guys just so you can kind of know what I'm dealing with. And it is absolutely insane. Okay. Absolutely insane. Like, you know, we want these kids found. You know, right now it seems like the police are not doing what we were hoping they would do and have this solved. Every day that goes by, and you may think it takes time, Dolly, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Every day that goes by, the odds of these kids being found alive go down dramatically. Okay. So to me, we're running out of time. We need these children found immediately. We need police we need Sherlock damn Holmes on the case, right? We need something good. We need answers. And right now, they're not giving us nothing. People are saying, play it, Dolly. Maybe if y'all get the videos up to 1,000 likes, if this video hits 1,000 likes, I will play a little bit of the crazy phone call. Okay. There's a few of them. I'll play y'all a little bit of the craziness, but we got to hit 1,000 for me to do that. Okay. Because he's supposed to be in private. But if you leave something crazy and it's not even about a clue or a tip, your phone call might get played here. Okay. Because it's just insane. You know, and it made me think, like, you know, the police, when they open up these tip lines, they get thousands of phone calls, right? And most of them are like, Donna Serafina rocks. How dare you talk about psychics, right? And this psychic said the kid is buried. Okay, most likely if the kid's dead, it's buried. Okay, or it's been thrown in the trash. It don't take a genius, right? And then, you know, I'm getting all these messages about, you know, the psychic solving this crime that she never solved. And like, it's like a madhouse on YouTube. Like, you cannot. Your DNA number 85. Okay, well, we got a long way to go then. We got a long way to go. We need Jack and Lily returned. Absolutely. I agree with that comment right there. All right. So we're doing the best we can, trying to spread awareness, get this story out there as much as we can, these kids' face out there as much as we can, and do our part to help. So yesterday, which, because, you know, today is Monday, Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day, people. It was National Lost and Missing Child Day. Okay. Sunday. I don't stream on Sundays. It's my meditation day, my day off. I go out and enjoy my Sundays. 1.2 in chat and only how many likes? 577. Okay. Well, that ain't bad. Half of you guys liked the video. At least half rang the doorbell when you came in. So we know they have the trail cam footage by now, right? One lady alone had 7 video cameras set up on her property. Now, this lady did live 18 minutes down the street. Okay, so she's a pretty good ways away from Jack and Lily, right? And she was hoping people would show up and, you know, want these videos and things like that. Now, the nearest house to them is a pretty good ways. So, and did they have videos? Now, we know somebody 18 minutes way down the road off a dirt road had video camera footage, but is that really going to pick up anything? Do they have anything, right? So there's a lot of people out there that are super big clickbaiting right now, because I went through videos today. There was one video titled the video footage that changed everything, right? And I click on it, and of course it's the video of the lady giving up the footage to the news, which we've done watched here, right? And it said the video that changed everything, right? I'm thinking, I just got super bad fucking clickbaited, right? I just got clickbaited. And I looked, and that video had like 60,000 plays. And here's the thing. That video didn't change anything. We're still in the same place we was before. Okay, the kids are still missing. There's no arrest. What the hell did the video change? Right? So just people are really out here super bad clickbaiting. So, you know, I'm hoping that other YouTubers find things or sleuthing. You never know who's going to have, you know, come up with the answers, right? 7 trail cams could be on land closer. Hopefully, right? But, you know, when you're posting things like that, it's kind of, you're kind of thinking they got something, right? But then when you watch the video and like, oh, they ain't got shit. It's just, it's pretty much the same. You ain't got nothing. Right. So I just, you know, that's why so many people clickbait, right? Everything's a damn clickbait challenge here on YouTube. And yep, we are still speculating. Absolutely speculating. But we try to stick to the facts that we do know, right? That there was 4 people on that property, that them kids didn't go missing in those woods. Okay, so there's only 2 options. There's only 2 options that are even worth being concerned about. The parents done something, or there's an abduction. Okay. And the police say they won't rule out abduction, but they're not treating it like an abduction. An abduction, there would have been Amber Alerts. There would be media showing the kids pictures, right? Why ain't we seeing that? Canada. Listen, I love you guys. Y'all my brothers and sisters. I went to Niagara Falls. I could see Canada. Couldn't get in, but I could see it. Y'all look like good people, right? I met many Canadians. My buddy Canadian Mike. Y'all are dropping the ball, right? Dropping the ball. The police in your country are dropping the ball bad. Not only dropping it, but kicking it. This should have been treated like double time, because there's 2 kids under the age of 10 years old, 4 and 6. These kids can't survive on their own. Somebody has took these kids from that home. Dolly.
Nancy Grace hasn't even talked about this case yet. She's obsessed with this P. Diddy garbage. It's annoying as crap.
Okay, P. Diddy right now is more important than 2 little missing kids. You know why? Because it don't seem to be a big deal in Canada. And if Canada's not making a big deal about it, and the police ain't reaching out for the public's help and giving any kind of transparency, American news is not going to pick it up. Okay? Worldwide news is not going to pick it up. You don't hear about this in the States. Anybody heard it on a local news channel, any of your channels? Anybody in the United States? This is for you people in Canada. Has anybody in the United States turned on their local news and seen Jack and Lily? Anybody? If you have, press 1 in the chat. Okay? I haven't. You know what I'm saying? Not even on the major news channels. I haven't seen nothing. Nope, not at all. I haven't seen nothing about Jack and Lily. All right? We just had Sebastian Rogers on America's Most Wanted, a national televised show, right? And he was 15 years old and could have possibly ran away. And he's done made it on every news channel, everything all across the country. Billboards all across the country. Jack and Lily, don't even get a missing kids flyer. Okay. Go try to find a decent flyer that says Jack and Lily missing on it. They got no billboards. If there wouldn't be no reward if Dolly didn't say, hey, I'll come off my pocket and do this, right? Nothing. It is insane to me that these kids are being done like this. And like, what did they think? These kids are going to just magically walk back in the door? Hey, here we are. Their mother's done left, done been acting strange, right? Looks totally different. Y'all remember? Listen, let me show this. Let me show this video. Let me show this. You got to see this. This is the lady that we're dealing with. This is my number one suspect. Okay. Here she is. Look at her now compared to what she looked like in them photos that we were just watching. Hold on, I'm going to pull a photo up to compare it. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me get to it. All right. Let me find where I put them. I'm just going to show you the difference of how this lady looks compared to what she used to look like. I don't know what has been going on in their home. Okay. But something is off. And I mean, it's majorly off. Okay. That ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. All right, let's find her. I got her picture. I'm into pictures now. I just want to pull this picture up beside it. Now, this was her before. Okay. This was her before. This is her now. Okay. To me, don't even look like the same damn person. Look how happy she looks here. She looks so emotionless here. There's a huge difference in this short amount of time. Okay. You say Nancy Grace has been disappointing lately, to say the least. Well, yeah, she's been covering the P. Diddy trial pretty heavily. And, let's see what this says. Yeah, it's National Missing Child Day. Yeah, I understand that. And that's why it's so important. Well, yesterday was, Sunday was. Today's Monday. It's 2:00 in the morning here on the East Coast. So it's early Monday morning here where I'm at. So it's not technically, that was yesterday. But yes, and you know, to be like, well, I'm not going to come out and give no interviews. I'm not going to come out and say nothing. The police have told me not to speak. I've never seen a situation where the police have told a mother of a missing child not to speak or not to do the media or not look for her child. Ever. Right? Now, when they're out there searching, they may say, well, stay close to the house. We don't want you out here searching just in case we find something. But they telling her not to search now. We got 1K likes. Okay. I'll play some that crazy lady's video for y'all in just a few minutes. But let's go through this. This is a quick 30-second video.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home.
Rcmp say there is still no sign of two siblings who are believed to have wandered away from their home in Pictou County. They were last seen around 10 a.m. on Friday in the community of Lansdowne Station. Rcmp say the search is ongoing and multiple agencies are now involved.
Well,
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible.
And that is absolutely not true. I mean, according to the dispatch call, they were last seen around 8 a.m. And why has the story changed so many times? Okay, why has the story changed so many times? All right, let's see. Okay, here, I'll play this call for y'all guys. All right. This is some of the stuff that has been coming in.
All these kids missing is for a reason, sir. Everybody knows why they're missing, sir. What are you talking about? They're all missing for a reason. What are you talking about, my guy?
What are you talking about, my guy? Okay, now, you know, this was, you know, They're calling when the show's not on. So there's no reason to be. Could y'all hear that? Could y'all hear that, my guy? Sir, what the fuck are you talking about, sir? Okay. But you left that and 30 other messages. That's just one. Hold on. That was just one. Hold on.
Bleep. Anyway, what? Dude, I don't want money. Listen to the people talking about babies. What are you fucking doing, my guy?
There's like 30 of them.
Oh my god. That's bullshit.
See, okay, hold on. Let me pause. She's listening to the video that I'm doing.
Dude, you're talking about missing children. Why are you taking money?
What money did I take, lady? She said she don't want money.
You want money for the kiddos. Missing months, by the way. What are you doing? Shit. It doesn't take money to find babies.
Hey, well, these babies ain't being found. So she's like drinking, listening to the stream, and talking to the TV. Okay? Like I can hear her.
But guys, come on, man.
I mean, just what the hell? Like, and there's like 30 of these. Brightfoot, you talk to me when you're watching? Okay, to the TV? You talk to the TV? Do I ever answer you back? You know what I'm saying?
It gets deeper too, which is weird. It's only gonna be weird. It's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be the same. Sir, it's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be the same.
It's not gonna be the same.
You know?
Like,
dogs buy this, no buy that.
What the hell is this woman talking about? Okay. So I mean I could play that for another hour of her leaving messages. And what I'm thinking is she was a little tipsy. She had the phone in her hand. She was watching the replay of the stream. When it's not live, there's no reason to be calling me. I can't answer your phone call, right? And it clearly says, you know, to leave a message. It don't say watch me and talk to me, right? It says if you have a tip on these kids, to leave it and we will call you. Leave your contact number, your name, and I'll contact you back, right? So it's just like, and then there were some people that were upset about other things and just leaving messages that have, you know, nothing to do with multiple messages. You know, it ain't like they left one message, they're leaving multiple messages. So, you know, I wake up, there's fucking 50, 60 messages, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is something good, right? Because usually I don't hardly ever check the messages. So I'm thinking, okay, well, now I got to check them because I set it up where people can leave information. So I have to check the messages. So I woke up this morning and I was sitting around drinking some, you know, soda. And I was like, okay, let me go through these messages that people are leaving. And it was just craziness. And that's just one person. Okay. So listen, guys, if you're out there drinking, don't call the number. Okay. Don't do it. I take it back. Don't do it. All right. But we need somebody out there knows what happened to these kids. They just didn't vanish. And what the mounted police are not telling you guys is they know that these 4 people are suspects. Right. But I guess they don't want to point the finger, maybe in the possibility that one of these people may flee or all of them may try to lawyer up or do these things. But there's no way that, listen, I do not believe that the Canadian police are dumb. Okay. I don't think they've done the best job, right? I think 3 weeks in and you just now getting the video footage is a little bit of a long time. Not taking all these people down to the police station immediately and setting them in separate rooms for 48 hours. I did hear they interviewed Daniel for 4 hours, but what is 4 hours? Okay. Let's call her, Dolly. Okay, call her and just start talking random shit about stuff that don't even matter. It does have her number. I mean, I technically could call her, but she's probably watching right now going, damn, I was pretty drunk. Okay. It's like, maybe she won't. I don't know. I don't know. I bet you the RCMP knows what happened and are just waiting for the arrest. Well, what are they waiting on? If they knew, there would be an arrest. Okay. So that tells me they don't know. They don't have any proof. They don't have any proof. I said the same thing in the Sebastian Rogers case. It's been a year and a half. There ain't been no arrest. They ain't, look, had they said there's any signs of foul play in the house? If there was, there would have been an arrest. Okay. So that shows you right there, there's no blood evidence inside that trailer, because you can believe they've went in that trailer and they investigated inside that trailer. They were even underneath the trailer. So they've searched that property, searched that trailer. And right now, it don't seem like they would have nothing. If they had something, the family would be down there being questioned, right? Or am I wrong? That's how it works in America. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Canada, and I don't want to talk bad about your police there in Canada, guys. I'm just as hopeful as y'all are, but I just don't understand it, and it don't make a whole lot of sense to me, right? I mean, you look at the internet. There's thousands of people here suspicious of the family. Their stories don't make sense. There's inconsistencies. Do you believe, let me ask you this, do you believe that the police told Malehya not to talk? Does anybody believe that? If you believe it, press 1. If you don't, press 2. Why didn't they tell Daniel not to talk? Why is it just her don't talk? Okay. I don't believe that. I don't believe that shit for a minute that they told her that. Every suspect out there, they went talking, they weren't doing interviews, because you could slip up, say the wrong thing. So they know, the police would know if they said it or not, right? They would know if they told her. And if they didn't, why ain't they going, well, why is she lying to the public? Why is she lying? If you tell a little lie, you'll tell a big lie. Okay. I don't understand why this lady looked so, she was pretty. Them pictures of her, she is a pretty girl. She is a pretty young lady. You look at her now, you're like, she looks a little fucking on drugs. Okay, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of that makes you go from, let me pull her picture back up. Okay. And I hate to be judgmental as a guy, but look how pretty she looks in this picture right here compared to her greasy ass skin in this picture here. Now, it could be stress. It could be my kid's gone, and maybe she has been upset, and I don't know. I'm judging by appearance. Drugs and filter, right? Depression, you're possibly right. That's apps. I don't know. I don't think Jack don't look any different, right? She looked like look at her eyebrows all done up all nice, right? And then you look at this picture, you're like, I don't even know that's the same chick. Okay, I feel like I'm getting catfish right here. Well, if she's grieving, I'll give you that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just showing the difference. And I just don't believe her. She's just no longer a blonde. Oh, you might be right. And she might not have no makeup on. And, I don't know. She just looked, I mean, I get it. She's missing a kid. She's going to look sad, right? But I don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it. If it was on sale, I wouldn't buy it. Okay. If it was a BOLO deal, no, BOGO, buy one, get one, I still ain't buying it, right? It don't make sense. Why ain't this mama pleading with the media if a kidnapper has her kid to release it? Okay. Another Leilani. Jimmy, best comment so far I've seen. Jimmy M, you win comment of the day. Okay. Because when I see this in this picture, she kind of looks like Leilani too. That's the scary part of it that you said that, Jimmy. Now, for my Canadians out there, you may not think, you don't even might not know who Leilani Simon is. Leilani Simon is a mother that had 3 kids, and she chose to beat one of them to death, allegedly. We really don't know. But we do know she threw the baby in a dumpster. Okay? Then went and slept with the drug man. Okay? Then went home and then blamed it on her boyfriend. Okay? That's what she did. I mean, it's just facts, right? Like, and she had that same look. I mean, I hate to say it. She had that same look. And the thing about this is, at one time, Leilani Simon was very pretty. She was a very pretty girl. Young lady. Probably had a bright future if she would have stayed on the right path and, you know, just decided for no reason other than to be, I mean, had no reason in the world to do it. No reason to kill her baby. None. Zero. Like, I can't even think of a reason other than she didn't like the baby daddy. She had a new man. She didn't like the baby daddy. So she unalives the child. Right? Something has changed in these people's life. Okay. Like, I haven't seen filters and makeup. Maybe it could be that. It could be filters and makeup, you know, and just here she has no makeup on. This is her straight out of bed. You know, this is what you wake up to. This is what you go out to a movie with. Okay. It could be that. It could just simply be that. And I'm not saying it's not. But what I am saying is, I don't believe her. Okay. I do not believe that the police told her not to speak. They snapped, Dolly. It is 1000% filters and makeup. Take it from us women who know. LOL. Listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. It could be filters. It could be damn prettymeup.com. I don't know. Okay. All I know is something is going on in this home that's not adding up, and these kids are gone. Now, somebody asked me, could she have possibly hid the kids? But you got to think, why would she hide the kids? Okay. The biological father wasn't in the kid's life. Neither one of the kids. He didn't want nothing to do with them. And he's gone. Now, the caller said to me, you know, another caller left a message, said, why ain't anybody looking into the biological father? Right? Because apparently he didn't want nothing to do with the kids. Well, all of a sudden, you think he's just going to come grab the kids? And I'm sure the police and everybody have been looking into the father. He was in and out of jail type person. But even if, let's just say the biological father, let's hypothetically say this, that the biological father came along and kidnapped the kids. Let's just say that, okay? Why is she still acting the way she's acting? Why is she not talking to the media? Why ain't she begging for the safe return of her kids? Why did she leave the house? Okay? These whys are still there. Even if the baby daddy did come kidnap the kids, you would still expect the mother to act a certain way. Why is she blaming Daniel? Why is her family blaming Daniel? These questions need to be answered. Okay, they need to be answered. Why ain't her mother? If her mother's out there blaming Daniel, why ain't she telling the press anything? If Daniel's such a bad guy, why are they not telling the press that Daniel's a bad guy? But yet behind the scenes, Daniel's a bad guy. But when they put a camera in front of their face, he's all of a sudden a good dude? Something's going on. Is she scared of this man? I mean, I would think when you're away from him and you have so many cops in between you, Daniel's aunt is blaming her. I think that's who she's claiming to be. Well, there's people out here claiming, Ricky, to be everybody. Her brother, their uncles, their cousins, but nobody really knows because a lot of these people are posting anonymous, or it's not really checking out who they say they are. They were told by the Rcmp not to speak to anyone. Jojo, I do not believe that, Jojo. Name another case where the police have told people not to speak. If that was the case, they would already arrest Daniel. Why is he talking? They didn't tell him not to talk. They didn't tell him not to search, but they're telling the mother not to search, not to talk. I hate to say it. I call bullshit. I call bullshit on that. She is not on a reserve. Okay, she is not. She lives outside of it. Okay, she lives outside. I know that much. She is outside of the reservation. She is not on the reservation. Okay, so not buying it. Not buying it at all. It don't have nothing to do with no reservation or anything to do like that. You don't think she can come off the reservation and talk to the media? You don't think she can come out here and say, please bring my kid home, please release my kid, hey, do something? She was more concerned about her damn social status of single. She could at least put it's complicated. You know what I'm saying? She put single, ready to mingle. Like, what do you want to go on a date while your kid is missing? I'm not buying this. There's 4 suspects. Okay. If the Canadian police ain't smart enough to see that there's 4 suspects, you need to get better police force. Daniel, Malehya, his brother, and his mother. Between them 4 people, in my opinion, one of them people have to know more than what we're being told. Now, I'm not out here saying they murdered these kids. I'm not saying that at all. I don't know what has happened to these kids. And I don't think nobody else does either, because right now we're just speculating. But I've been in this game a long time. A long, long time. It seems like anyway. It really ain't been that long. 4 years. Okay, 4 years. I could have a bachelor's degree in criminology in 4 years. Okay. And I've learned on the go, traveling the country, dealing with families of missing kids. Now, I don't know if y'all been around a real parent of a missing kid, but I have. I've been sat with their families, spoke with their families of parents of missing kids, probably more than anybody else in here in this room. I guarantee you there's nobody in this room right now that has sat with more families of murdered and missing kids than me. I don't think any of y'all have been there when they found their kids dead. I've been there. Been right beside the families when they find their loved ones deceased. Sat with so many missing families, I just can't even believe it. I've sat and spoke with murderers, people that have killed their babies. I just think that them years of experience are telling me that there's some foul play in this. And you guys don't got to believe me. You ain't got to trust me. Ain't none of those things. But I can tell you, everybody that's been following me for years knows when I say I've done all these things, it's absolutely true. I've dealt with more family members of missing kids than anybody I know. And most likely anybody in this room. There may be somebody in here that's, done more than that. But I truly doubt it. Okay. And I know something's wrong. Definitely foul play. God, family, country. There's definitely, listen, I don't know what's going on. I don't claim to know what's going on. But I know whatever is happening because of a domestic situation between this family. And that's why some of the family shut up and not saying nothing. That's why we have family members fighting. Them are huge red flags. Open your phone line. Shane wants to call you. Okay, well, give me a few minutes. You know, I talk for a good hour before I ever open the phone lines. I got an hour intro to my show. I usually got to get everything I want to say off my chest within 60 minutes, and we're about 10 minutes from that. So I will open the phone lines in 10 minutes. Don't rush me, okay? I had to listen to an hour crazy people today. But listen, the phone line is there for somebody that may know something, right? Another Leilani. Jimmy, I think you know the deal, okay? I think we all know the deal, pretty much. You know, there's nothing wrong with keeping hope out there, and I want to be a hopeful person that, you know, these kids, I hate to even say it, because if these kids haven't been abducted, I don't feel like they're with us anymore. If they have, there's a better possibility if these kids have been kidnapped that they're alive than if they won't. Okay, Megan Boswell too. You know, I sat through that trial, Megan Boswell. And just to throw that out there, I don't think there's been nobody sat through more people who killed their babies murder trials than me. Okay. So, I mean, I can put that on my resume of, you know, being at court hearings of murderers. I sat right behind Crystal Sorey at Harmony Montgomery. She just got $2.2 million, right, in a settlement from the state. I sat right behind Billy Joe at the Leilani trial. I sat right behind Megan Boswell's grandma and adopted parents in Tennessee, right? It's tough, man. It's all this is bad. Like it's so heartbreaking because these are two beautiful kids. It like, you know, I have a daughter, 25 years old. I always wanted a son, always. Okay. I'd have took Jack. If these people didn't want Jack, Jack could have been Dolly Jr. You know what I'm saying? I would have adopted him. Same thing with Quentin Simon. I'd have took Quentin Simon. If he was going to say, Dolly, I don't want this baby, I'm going to throw it in the dumpster, I'd been like, yo, let me get that little boy. Okay, I'll give him a good life. He'll have an awesome home. Every fucking toy you could think of, because you know me, I like to play with toys. So the kid would have, and my daughter, she don't have any kids. So I don't have any grandchildren. I got one 25-year-old daughter, and she says, Dad, I ain't having kids. I'm like, damn, so there's no grandson. There's no buying G.I. Joe men. There's no Transformers. There's no, you know, kickball, you know, going to baseball practice. There ain't none of those things as a man that you look forward to, right? So I'm like, damn. So, you know, if you want to hurt your kid, you know, you got a boy out there, you give him a dolly. Okay, I adopt him, right? I need a junior, right? I need a junior, a Dolly Junior. And but I'm just, you know, I really don't want a kid. But if somebody was going to hurt a kid, I would definitely take that child. You know what I'm saying? Not that I really want a child, that I, you know, at my age. But if I knew somebody was going to hurt their kid, I would definitely say, hey, let me have that child. All right, I'll take care of them, give them a good home, a good life. And, you know, yeah, that kid would be spoiled as hell, right? Spoiled as hell. You know, I just don't see how people can hurt their kids. And I don't trust this woman, guys. So when you see my video, when it says the 4 prime suspects, my 4 prime suspects, of course, Malehya. And I know if she's watching, she hates to hear that. But until you're cleared, until the police come out and say you have nothing to do with the disappearance of your kid, you're a suspect. Okay? You're a suspect. Daniel, right? You damn Chris Watts acting ass dude. You're a suspect. Okay? Now, there's people, Tammy, thank you guys so much. Thank you. And thank you for your donation. That is awesome of you. And then we got, of course, Daniel's brother, who acts like it's not a big deal. Just when you see him on camera, he's laid back, kicking, living his best life. Like, I don't understand it. And, you know, of course, that clean ass four-wheeler, they live in a junky house, a raggedy RV, shit all over the yard. And then they got a four-wheeler that's damn near spotless. Like, you got up and washed that bitch like it was a Cutlass, okay, with rims. I don't know. I'm not buying their story. And then you got the grandmother, okay, which would be Daniel's mother. I'm not talking about Malehya's mother. Not saying nothing. And Malehya's mother, she's not coming out to the media going, bring my grandbaby home, okay? Jojo, thank you so much, Jojo. So we don't see anybody begging and pleading for these kids. The only person we really see begging and pleading is Daniel. And we don't even trust him. Okay, let's be honest. Who trusts this Daniel in this room? Anybody? Anybody trust this dude? If you trust him, press 1. I don't trust him. I don't trust him. He says he was awake when these kids went missing. That makes me not even trust him even more. Okay, he said he immediately. You trust him? Okay, that's cool. You got the right to trust him. Everybody, you know, I ain't mad at you. I just don't. Okay, I don't hate people that disagree with me. I don't. This is open discussion. If you feel free to believe whatever you want here, okay. I want you to give your honest opinions here. That's important to me. So nobody be mean when somebody says something that you disagree with. Be respectful, because that's one thing we're entitled to here is our opinions. And I want people to share their honest opinions here. Okay. Daniel shook my hand. He was all sweaty. Now, one of the calls that I got in on the phone line last night was somebody that disagreed with Shane. Okay, they disagreed with him, and they wanted to express their concern that what Shane was saying may not have been true. Okay, now I don't know when a caller. Let me explain this to you viewers out there. When somebody calls in, we just listen to their story. Now, there's no way for us to go fact check Shane. Shane may absolutely be telling the truth, and the man was sweaty. Shane could be not telling the truth, and there's no real way for us to know. Okay, I can't go hunt down Shane and verify his story or anything like that. So we just thankful that people share here. It's up to you guys if you believe the callers or not, or you agree with their opinions or you disagree with their opinions. Okay, I don't pay anybody. I don't have anybody call here. I just put the number up, and whoever calls. Y'all see that by the crazy lady we played earlier that was just fucking fuck you, Dolly, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't tell people who to call and not to call. It's up to, you know, you guys to believe their credibility. Now, I give everybody a chance to speak, right? Remember in the Sebastian Rogers case, the guy called up, said he was in Walmart and he was stomping his feet. And I listened to this dude for 30 good minutes. And then he said Jeffrey Dahmer tried to eat him. And he knew Ted Bundy. No, he said John Wayne Gacy. He tried to get him to come over, and Jeffrey Dahmer tried to eat him or something. Then at that point, I knew he was uncredible and he was crazy. And then I kind of snapped off on him and was like, listen, how dare you do those types of things? Right? Because this is important. These are kids. People are watching this. There's 1,700 people right here, right now, at 2:00 in the morning. It's 3:00 in Canada, because they care about these kids. They want answers. They don't want to hear some fucking weirdo tell a story that is a lie and just made up. Listen, if you need attention, get a dog, okay? Get a pet, do something like that. Like, this ain't the place for it. In trolling in these missing kid cases, like, you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, somebody should break their foot off in your butt crack, right? Because this ain't the place to really be trolling when we're dealing with subjects that are so sensitive, okay, of these missing kids. There's people that call in here and just start crying because it's sad, right? So, you know, I tell little jokes and try to be silly to lighten the mood. Become a DoorDash driver if you need attention, right? Yeah, there you go. Become a DoorDash driver. You're do Uber. You'll meet a lot of people. You'll be able to talk to a bunch of people, right? But this ain't the place to get your attention. If you're crazy, like I said, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a dude on YouTube that gives my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that my opinion is right on everything. You don't have to call me and tell me I'm wrong. You just, in your mind, you would go, he's wrong. That's good enough with me, right? You're a night hawk. Okay. I'm more of a night owl. So, it is what it is. But if we don't put no pressure on these police, I feel like it's already not getting the attention that it deserves. Now, if the police came out and did more press conferences, would there be more attention on this case? All right. Now we hit the 1 hour mark. Now I will open up the phone lines for you guys. Okay. Y'all try to cut me short tonight, but Dolly be having something to say. All right. My 4 suspects are Daniel, Malehya, the brother, and the mother. You tell me what you think. Okay. The call-in line is now open. Let's hear from you. If you got something to say, now is the time to say it. All right, phone lines open. Call-in numbers on screen, 757-797-6694. All right, let me make sure. Let me refresh it. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly. I just watching you here on YouTube.
All right, who's this? Where are you calling from?
It's Al. I'm calling from Alberta.
Hey, Al. What's good with you?
I'm pretty good. I just the reason I'm interested in this is I found out like these kids went missing on my birthday.
Uh-huh.
And I got 2 daughters of my own. I raised them as a single dad. Like I just can't imagine. I know when my kids went outside in the backyard and stuff like that, I knew where they were. I might have been laying on the couch watching football or something like that, but I knew where they were. Right. And I can't believe that those kids got out of that yard without those parents knowing. I just,
Well, I can understand if they got out past the parents, right? But then they had to get past Daniel's brother and his mother, which their trailer sat directly behind that sliding glass door. And we've seen videos of Lilly. We know how loud she was, right? She's a loud kid. So how did they not hear or not see anything? Was everybody sleeping in that day? All 4 of them?
Yeah, see all these questions, and I mean, my youngest is an autistic. She's an autistic adult now, but I raised her single dad since she was 4, and she makes noise. Sometimes she'll make noise like that and get excited, but I mean, Katie, my daughter, is never up without me hearing her. Like you said, like she's always making some kind of noise, right?
Yeah.
So like I know she gets up at 4:30 in the morning, and I've heard her, and she's done it since she was a baby. She gets up about 4:30 in the morning. She'll goo and ga and talk to herself and talk to her babies, and then she goes back to sleep about 6:30 in the morning. So I mean, I know these things, right? You know your kids. Like I don't know, do you have children? Like you know
I have
your
one.
kids.
I have one.
You know.
She's 25 now. You're in Alberta, right?
Yeah, Edmonton, Alberta, yeah.
How much are you hearing about this on the news? Is it a big deal where you live?
No, man. See, that's the problem is I got to go look for it, right? Like I've been looking and looking, and I don't get there's no updates or nothing.
Do you think
that's why I'm asking you now. I'm wondering what's going on, right? Like,
yeah, that's unusual.
I mean, these poor little ones.
Don't you think that's unusual that you got 2 kids missing in that Providence in Nova Scotia, and it's not major news? What's more important in Canada than 2 missing kids right now? What do y'all got?
That's what nothing, because that's what I don't understand myself, because we live in Alberta and we had the Amber Alert, right? And I mean, we've had kids that were stolen from Northwest Territories from their parents, and boom, it's on the Amber Alert right now.
Oh yeah,
right?
if you're
like
dead,
they're missing.
if you're a dad that didn't pay your child support and didn't return your kid on time, there's an Amber Alert right out for your ass. That's instant.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was no Amber Alert here.
Mhm.
There was none of it. And I mean, the mom did ask for an Amber Alert to be put out, which, I mean, I think they either know something else is going on. Like they say maybe the stepdad or the real dad took him.
Uh-huh.
I heard that, but I've heard they walked away. I've heard, you know, they spent miles and hours looking all over the forest. Like, these poor little ones, they wouldn't be alive this many days out in the forest by themselves.
No,
man,
absolutely not.
And I mean, like, I don't know whether maybe the RCMP is just digging around and they don't have enough to come out and outright say these parents did something to these kids. We found them. You know, because they did take trail cameras, they said, from the lady down the road.
Yeah, but she was 18 minutes down the road.
Yeah, but they also took like from way longer, like about a week and out from before. So
yeah,
you know, like, I mean, maybe something did happen to him, maybe because, like, I mean, that little small of a community, everybody knows everybody.
Oh yeah, I know that too. And
So,
I think
well, I don't know where you live, but like somebody's F-150 pulls into town that don't belong there, you're gonna know it, right?
Oh, not where I'm at. I live in a major city. We see new people constantly, so it's hard. My neighbors,
no, I do too.
My neighbors change.
But look at that little country place, man.
I live in a military town, so my neighbors change every month. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even the same neighbors. So I mean,
okay.
So yeah, you could definitely, like, I'm not in a rural area. People would easily be able to slip in and out where I'm at undetected. But I have lived in areas that where, you know, there ain't nobody, and it's, yeah, you're right. Everybody knows each other. You would know a vehicle that's out of place. And I believe they suspect the parents. They just don't have any proof against the parents.
That's right. And I mean, like, I don't know, in Canada, like the RCMP, they will get their man. They're famous for it, but they don't.
I hear that a lot.
They're not famous for coming out and giving a lot of details until the end of it. Like, they don't talk during the investigation. They won't say nothing to you, you know, other than to say it's an ongoing investigation.
Now, let me ask you this. You know, your kid has been kidnapped. They wait 3 weeks to go get these trail cameras. Don't you think that's a little bit of dropping the damn ball on a situation that this kid could be in China by now? If somebody did abduct them, they waited 3 weeks to figure out what vehicles were in the area.
Well, yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, in this day and age, you could have satellite footage or something, like it's something. So you got cameras and trail cameras. Like, I mean, everybody's got it to keep their property. That would have been the first thing you think they would have started looking at. Like,
that's what I would think by day 2. I would say at least in the first week. Okay, I give them the first week, but 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Now you're starting to go look for trail cams and ring doorbell cams. That's usually stuff police do in the States on day 1.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, what I don't understand is they say, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, but I don't understand why they didn't. And it's not because they don't have them in Canada, because they do. I live in the major city, Edmonton, like you said. Like, you live in a major metropolis too. And I mean, the Edmonton Police Service has a whole pack of dog cards that you can get, like hockey cards, for all of their dogs. And they have cadaver dogs, they have drug dogs, they have all of that. Right. So, I mean, like, I know that it wouldn't be more than 4 hours away and you could have a dog out there that could have sniffed right from the house to wherever they went, and you would have found them. And that's why I think you might be right, that, like, something happened to them. They know something happened to them, the RCMP. They just don't have enough proof to come right out and say, look, these parents killed these kids.
Yeah, but I think in a situation like this is just my opinion. If you don't have enough, right, well, you do have enough to charge them with criminal child neglect, because child neglect is no more than leaving your child unattended. Okay. So
for sure. Leaving them in the car while you go to the store is criminal neglect of the child when they're that young. Like,
yeah. So, I mean, it's the same thing at home. If you're not paying attention to your kid and you let your kid go outside and you're not out there with them, that's child neglect.
You're right.
I mean,
you're right, because they admitted they were in their own room with the baby.
Absolutely.
And they weren't sure whether the kids were inside the house or outside the sliding door or where they were.
That's enough to put them in jail for a little bit. And we know they're not rich people. So all you got to do is set their bond a little bit high, right? So they can't get out.
Yeah.
And now you
Yeah.
have them, and then you start working them against each other. And I think something would have came out already. And
By now, yeah.
and that's
something
why
would've-
that's why I think that, I don't know. I just think the police could have handled it better. I watch a lot of. You ever watch the Next 48?
Yeah, I watch that all the time, and you're right. Like those first 12 hours, those first 10 hours are critical, man.
It's
Like
so
critical.
it's so important that they should have had them police there with them the first 2
Well,
days.
that's what I'm saying to you. They should have had those as soon as they said those kids were missing. Somebody said those kids were missing. They should have had the police dogs out there and sniffing and to where they go, because like I've seen it on that 48 hours that you just mentioned.
Mhm.
Somebody kidnapped a kid right out of the car on the highway. Okay, and the cop dog come to the car, sniffed the car, and followed them.
Yeah.
And they found the guy hiding in the bush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what he was trying to steal the kid, and then he was hoping that everybody'd fuck off and leave him, and then he'd be able to run away with the kid, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, the dog found him like instantaneously, and I mean, I don't care what anybody says. That's where I think they dropped the ball first off, because you can look on the Discovery Channel, and what I found is cadaver dogs and sniffing dogs. There's cadaver dogs. They go out on the boat, man. They can smell under the water a dead body.
Yes, absolutely.
So you can't tell me that in that little area, right? There's not too many humans. There's not too much scent around there.
But if they're not dead, you got to think about that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. All they got to do is find a dog that, like, it doesn't have to be a cadaver dog. You can even just like take one of their jackets and give it to the dog to sniff, and then they go find them.
Yeah. And nothing in the woods. That's the weird thing. And the last boot print was at the end of the driveway, and then the trail just goes cold. So it almost seems like to me that these parents put these kids in a car. I don't know if they put them in the car alive or dead, if something happened at another location or if something happened there. But them kids, I don't believe are anywhere around that house.
Well, there's this lady, she on YouTube too. She calls herself the canine. I guess she was a canine operator before, and she said that since the start of this, what she thinks happened is that something happened to those kids. Like they got, the parents got pissed off and they beat one of them or something. And, they ended up dying or something, and they got rid of those kids, and now they're trying to make it look like they're kidnapped to get away with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot of people think. I don't know, though. I mean, that's the mystery of it. I think that's why we're all talking, is because nobody knows. There's so many different theories. But hey, look, brother, I appreciate you calling in and chopping it up with me. You still there? Okay, I think I lost him. Okay, well, I was getting ready to wrap it up anyway. So, yeah, like the police, you hear that, like, and he's in Canada. He's watched the Next 48, right? Everybody's watching. If you ain't watching the Next 48, it's important to watch that, because, immediately when a crime happens, the first thing people do is they contain that area, right? They send out detectives to go around to knock on the neighbors' doors and ask the neighbors, hey, did you see anything? Did you hear anything? Do you have any video footage? Do you have Ring doorbell cameras? They don't wait 3 weeks and then go, oh, by the way, let's go look and see if anybody has any cameras. Right? In 3 weeks, them kids could have been packed up in a damn container and shipped to damn North Korea in that amount of time. And listen, they were the first week in. No kids in the woods. And you know what the media asked them? Have you brought in cadaver dogs? And they said no. In the first week, there was no cadaver dogs, right? Matter of fact, I want to pull up the press conference to show you. They asked, the media asked, is there any cadaver dogs been and the police said no. Okay. No, there had not been no cadaver dogs present at that house in the first week. All right, so let's jump over to this. Let's blow this up.
I am Corporal Carly McCann,
And I'll keep
Provincial
the phone
Public
lines
Information
open.
Officer for the Nova Scotia RCMP. Thank you all for being here today. Bonjour, je suis la caporal
Phones are
Carly
open.
McCann, agent d'information publique pour la GRC en Nouvelle-Écosse. Merci de votre présence aujourd'hui. First, I acknowledge that we are in Mi'kmaq, the traditional and unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I also recognize that African
you,
Nova
Nina.
Scotians are a distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kmaq known as Nova Scotia for over 400 years. Premièrement, je reconnais que nous nous trouvons aujourd'hui à Mi'kmaq, le territoire ancestral traditionnel et non cédé du peuple Mi'kmaq. Je reconnais également que les Néo-Écossais d'origine africaine constituent un peuple distinct dont l'histoire, l'héritage et les contributions ont enrichi la...
Dolly,
Dolly, I made it through.
you did it.
Let me turn this off. Okay, there. I'm Debbie from Texas,
Hey, Debbie.
and since they first started it about, and the neighbor had set all those cars around there, and it was probably a big drug party.
Uh-huh.
I think somebody owed money, and I think because he only worked one day a week.
Yeah, the carpet. I mean, what is the mill?
Yep. So, I go to different YouTube just to see if there's any updates, but that's the main thing that sinks in my head. I think somebody owed money on the drugs and they've been threatened. That's why they keep saying they got abducted.
We've been trying to find somebody this whole time in the groups and everywhere that said they've, went to this party that was supposed to happen there. And we're not been able to find one person yet that says they've been to this party. But if it was a drug party, most people are not going to say they were there.
Right.
Right. So, but we're not even been able to really 100% or even 75% verify that a party even took place. Now, I hear it did. I hear the rumors just like you and all the speculation.
Yeah, the neighbor. It was a neighbor.
That said there was a party?
That said there was a party, there was cars all around, and they made that was early on, they made that statement. I wonder if they're all just sharing a crack pipe or something in there and what they're doing.
I mean, have we been able to confirm that it was a neighbor, though? I mean, because a lot of these people were posting these forums as anonymous.
Right.
Anybody could say, like, I could go in the group right now and post as anonymous and say, hey, I'm a neighbor and I seen this and I seen that. And every YouTube channel would be running with it. Let's be honest, right? That's how fast a rumor or a lie can spread on the internet. So, I mean, we got to take it as, let's look into it. It's worth looking into. Right. That's why I said, hey, I'm going to offer this reward. Maybe somebody that was at the party will call in and say, hey, I seen this or seen that. But so far, we've had a lot of locals call in, people right in the area call in, and nobody really has said anything about this party yet. So, I'm still, trying to figure that one out myself. And if there was a party, then there should be a lot of people that can confirm that Jack and Lily was alive on that Thursday night.
Right.
It's kind of funny. They have a party, alleged party, the night before, and now the kids are gone. And why would you have a party if you got sick kids?
I did catch something that, this is off that subject, but the boots that, that Daniel said that they had on, I had seen another YouTube presentation a couple of days ago that said they had found their boots in the trailer house.
Now that I don't know. That would have to be something that would come out through law enforcement. How would a YouTuber know that?
It was one of the well-known ones that are always presenting things. I just kind of, like I said, go back that, that seemed to be legible. Like even the detective got all these places. I just look for new information. Yeah. And that's what they had said, that the boots were inside. But again, it wasn't law enforcement that presented it. Yeah. And like, I would have to question, how would a YouTuber know that? Right. That's my big question. Like if I just came in and said, well, Lily wasn't wearing pink, all her pink clothes are at the house, how would I know that? Unless somebody in that house told me. If they're not in direct communication with Daniel or his family, the police just ain't telling YouTubers shit. But he said he kept going in and out of consciousness, and he saw her come in a couple of times. That's why he described what she was wearing. Yeah, and that's inconsistent because originally when they first came out, they hadn't seen the kids at all.
that they
Right.
were asleep and the kids vanished. And then it
Mhm.
came out that the kids had came in the room a few times and Jack was
Mhm.
in the kitchen. It's just inconsistency after inconsistency. It's like the story changed.
Right.
And we know the truth never changes.
Right.
So it's always the same. If you're telling the truth, it's always the same story no matter what.
Yes.
So I'll have to look into the whole who's saying that the boots were found, but I mean, I don't know. I don't believe it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But I could be wrong. I don't.
It wasn't a call-in show. It was just like a presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
YouTubers.
But it was on YouTube.
Yes,
Yeah.
YouTubers will lie their ass off, right? I'm just
Right.
saying, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They'll come up with something to make a video about. We got to have
Yeah.
something to talk about. So some people just make up stuff. And it happens a lot in missing kids cases where these YouTubers make up things. They just completely make it up. I mean, I think it's okay to speculate, but when you
Mhm.
lie and say you know something to be fact and it's totally not fact, just so you can get clicks and views, I think that's terrible.
Right.
There's room for speculation and theories, but there's no room for lying.
Right.
So, but hey, I appreciate you calling in.
Hey, appreciate talking to you. You're a good man.
All right.
Thank you.
Be
Bye-bye.
good. Peace.
You too. Uh-huh.
Hey, YouTubers out there watching. You don't gotta lie. I mean, if you want to tell some wild story, you can come up here and say, well, look, I got this theory, guys, that 15 people came in and they were part of a motorcycle gang, right? That was moving the big M through Nova Scotia and they wanted to use their house as a meth lab. And when they said, nah, they grabbed the kids and they're holding them hostage, right? You can say something as long as you tell people it's a theory and this is what you're thinking. But when you just come out and you present something as fact, that has no, anybody can tell a good story, right? Dolly could tell you probably some of the wildest made up fucking stories in the world, right? I could write a book. That is when it's horrible, right? Because people really believe these things and then they run around and they spread misinformation. They don't mean to do it. They just, they trust the YouTuber that they're watching. They believe it and they spread it. Now we don't we try our best not to spread misinformation, right? We theorize, we speculate, we come up with theories, but we won't tell you, hey, they found one of the boots in a bag underneath a tree, right? We won't do that. We don't do that here. Not unless it comes out in some major media, right? That this has happened. True crimes. I don't know the channels. But here's what I do know for a fact. The police in Canada are not getting a lead and they're going, hold on, let me call this YouTuber and tell them. Okay, that ain't happening. I know a lot. Well, I don't know much, but I know that shit ain't happening. Okay. So they ain't going to be like, oh, well, let me give this lead to, I need to give this to the media, but let me call some random ass YouTuber and give it to them. Right. Phone lines are back open. Why would they do that? They're not. So if somebody's telling you information like that on a YouTube channel, don't believe everything that you hear. Okay. You don't never hear me tell you guys, well, look, the authorities called me, right? First off, if the police call me, I ain't answering the phone. I'm going to think I'm going to jail. I'm not even answering, right? But I ain't going to be like, well, look, the police let me know this, right? If they didn't hear it from somebody, now it's possible. Now listen, I was in Georgia and there was locals telling me things that were true, but I still presented it as a theory, not as fact. But I was like, look, the locals are telling me this. Now, if they're saying that, then you could actually, there could be some truth to it. But if they're saying information nobody else got, you got to ask yourself, how do they have that information? Dolly. Hello.
Okay, on one of the other YouTubers.
Yeah, you got to turn me down in the background and you got to tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Okay, from Missouri.
Okay, what's up, Missouri?
Okay, one of the other YouTubers, it did come from another YouTuber, but they were talking about the trafficking, where they live at, the trafficking was extremely high.
Okay.
Well, she kept talking, and they said that the mom, now she's back home with her mom, with the grandma, but the mom, her dad was caught. He was arrested for trafficking. And I'm thinking,
Malehya's dad?
Yes.
No,
was caught
I think he has been arrested for domestic violence, but I don't think he's ever been arrested for any type of child trafficking.
Well, that's what she was saying. And I thought, well, maybe, just maybe, the mom knew that her dad, if they got all messed up or whatever, maybe that the kids end up with her dad,
Yeah.
And so I thought, well surely
heard,
the mom didn't traffic the kids.
Well, I've heard some pretty bad things about Malehya's dad, for sure.
Yeah.
As far as, being involved in drugs and things like that in domestic situations. Yeah, I hear he's not the best guy in the world. But as far as him being involved in human sex trafficking, I'm not quite sure.
Well, it would come off of a YouTuber, and I thought, well, that don't mean maybe, and she was talking about how much trafficking that was going on up there where they live.
I mean, it's going on everywhere in the world. There's a lot of it going on everywhere. It's a global epidemic. I mean, it's $1 billion industry. So, I mean, yes, those things are happening. Is her dad doing those things? I mean, I haven't heard anything far as human trafficking involving her father.
That is the first time that I'd heard anything about her dad.
Some of these channels are not credible channels. They'll say anything without doing any research or any fact checking. So, I mean, are they wrong? I can't say they're wrong because I haven't checked into it, but I haven't heard anything like that. So, like,
that was the first time I'd heard anything about him at all, because I've been trying to watch for these little kids.
It's not my first time hearing about her dad. I mean, he's a very abusive guy. He's involved in drugs and a lot of bad things. That is true. Okay. Allegedly true. And, but far as, adding to him, you can, if he's not a good guy, he's not a good guy. He could be caught up in anything, but I don't believe he has any past criminal history for sex trafficking.
Well, you take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
about hearing stuff on here. So it's like, well, I guess anything's possible since nothing else has showed up. You just think about everything.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, they had called about something about their trash. Have you heard anything about their trash?
Now,
their trash company wouldn't haul off.
No, I haven't heard that, but what I did hear about is they have this time where it's called spring clean, and they send out trucks to pick up bulk trash. Now, I'm not sure if that area, has to take their trash to the dump or quite how that operates. But I had plenty of people from Canada tell me, you're right, Dolly. We do have a spring clean time, and they send around big trucks to pick up bulk trash. Now, I hope that ain't a situation where these kids are in a landfill, but yes, there is something to that in that area where they pick up bulk trash. Now, I don't know if that's the case for Daniel, because I don't want to tell you something just wrong.
No.
Right. But
and I don't want to say anything that's wrong. I mean, because you got to kind of watch what you say, because you can't.
Yeah, but I do know, know from what locals have told me that is true, that they send around these trucks a bulk pickup at a certain time of year to pick up couches, old mattresses, refrigerators, things like that.
Suitcases.
So, possibly suitcases, anything big.
They said something about suitcases, and I was thinking, well, surely, hopefully to goodness that, they didn't shove them in something and get rid of the kids, who knows?
Okay.
But that's all I had to say. I mean, I was just I just heard that she was just talking about her dad, Maleha's dad,
well, like my
you
producer
know, had gotten
says,
arrested for that.
Did
And I
my
was thinking, well,
my producer says that YouTuber is nuts and said a lot of rumors in the Kylie case. Shake my head. Rumors are not true. So that came from my
right.
producer. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You have a good evening.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah, guys. Listen. I fight misinformation all the time. Right. And listen, like I said, if these channels want to theorize, come up with theories and speculate, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. We do it right here. But what we don't do is make up things. We report to you what news is out there. If we hear a rumor, we'll let you know it's a rumor. When we're coming up with crazy theories, we'll let you know these are crazy theories. What if this? What if that? Right? That's normal conversation. But if I was to come up here and say, well, her dad's been arrested for these crimes and he's responsible for this, and people believe it, and then they go, just like I tell you, they go to other channels, just like this lady said, well, look, this other YouTuber said this. Well, I can't control what the damn other YouTuber says, right? I can only control my channel. I can't tell other people how to run their channels. But once people find you uncredible, that the information you're giving them is not accurate information and you're just making up shit, it only hurts your channel. Like you'll see channels, you know, just a small handful of people watch. And then you'll see channels that are bigger channels that have a lot more subscribers. I have a lot more people here, and people believe that, you know, with great powers come great responsibility. So I have to try to give you the best, to give you the most accurate information that I can. Okay. So if I tell you something, and I ain't saying I'm perfect, I make mistakes just like anybody else. I don't have a million people fact checking things. I got PJ, and she does her best to keep up with my crazy ass, right? But I try not to just make up things and like, or have people believe something that's completely not true. Like I don't say, you've never heard me say that Daniel and Malehya have hurt these kids or any of the family. I've never said it. I said I am suspicious of Malehya, Daniel, the mother, and the brother. They are my prime suspects. Now, just because you're suspicious of somebody, don't mean they did it. I have no proof whatsoever that these people did anything to harm their children. Nothing. Now, do I suspect that they did something? Absolutely, just like each and every one of you guys. I just ain't got no proof. If I had proof, I would turn that over to the Rcmp, and we would watch these people go to jail and rot, right? So we got to keep our information factual. That right now, the latest news, the only thing that's come out is they've took these trail cameras. Okay, that's it. That's the latest news. There hasn't been nothing past that. Right now, we can speculate. What did they find in those trail cameras? Right. So, see, there's nothing wrong with a little speculation, because we could ask, well, they got these. Do you think anything's going to come of this? And you have a topic right there to make a video about and talk about. So I don't have to come up here and be like, well, the boots are in the house. Well, how the fuck do you know the boots are in the house? Like, how do these YouTubers know more than the police? They don't. And when they be like, yeah, my sources told me, you lying ass person. Okay. You lying ass person. I battle this more than ninjas fight samurais. Okay. It's like I do suspect the parents at all. Right. That's in the chat. Right. So it's like, it's a never ending battle, because YouTube is loaded with misinformation. All right. I always like to be able, when somebody says something, I like to fact check it against a national news source, right? You know, I would believe that the reporters in Canada are going to know more than a YouTuber. Okay. They're going to get more information. The police are more likely to leak information to mainstream media than they are to a random YouTuber that nobody knows. Okay. Listen, I got millions of views. Millions. Right now, we're at 65,000 subscribers. That's just on this channel. Okay, I got other channels. millions of views collectively over the years on YouTube, 20 million views or something like that. You know how much information the police are giving me? Zero. None. It don't happen. You know what I'm saying? That's how come, like, and other people won't tell you that. They won't be truthful with you, right? The police ain't telling you shit. They ain't telling me shit. They ain't telling you shit. That ain't how it's happening, right? Like, good Lord. And you know, there's a channel with 5,000 subscribers, but yet they got sources in the FBI and the fucking CIA and it's lies. Dolly.
Hey, it's Shane.
Hey Shane, what's going on?
Well, your peeps in there wanted me to call. I live just off. I live just off Gerlach Road,
Okay.
And I was involved in the search. Well, they went missing on May 2nd. I think it was May 2nd. And it's a small town, and I didn't even know until my neighbor came over and said, "Did you hear that the kids?" They said the kids are missing. I said, "What kids?" And they said Jack and Lily. I don't know the family. I didn't know them, but anyways, so it was 3 days after. It was May 5th or 6th that I got involved, and I went and volunteered to search. And it's all wooded areas. It's like, and I was with a lady, and she was like, "We're not gonna find anything out here." Like, it was just like really surreal. So anyways, the other day I went by again and I saw Daniel was home, and I talked to him, and he, like I said in the chat, he was all sweaty. He was like, it was just weird. It was just weird.
Now, did you talk to him the day that you were out there searching and he was sweaty, or did you see him another time? Because
just
now
the other day. No, not the day that we went searching was on the 5th or 6th. I didn't see him, and I don't know if she was gone yet or not. But you know, it's like a lot of stuff that we found out was just on the news. And I live just off Gerlach. I live like 8 minutes from their house. If you go there, like when I go there, the place is like a shit. Like it's terrible. Like it's gross. I mean, you see what you see on TV, but it's disgusting. And anyways, I don't know how they could have gone far. Like, I mean, it's all wooded areas. And then the search was like really, there was like 100 people. Like the day I went, it was 100 people there. And there's no way that they would not have been found if they were close. Do you know what I mean? Like, the lady I was with was like, we're looking for nothing, is what she said to me. And she was older than me, and I'm 58. So, but I saw him just the other day, is my point. And that was the day he was all sweaty. And like I said, I drove by, and I don't know, I guess it's in the minds of everybody around here that, you know, where can they be, or, you know, but I haven't seen her at all. Not one time, but he's been there. I drove by, like I said in the chat, I drove by today, her house, and there's people there. Like there's cars there. I couldn't see anybody. But there's people there. He's there. He must be there. But I think that he's kind of keeping quiet with the media and stuff like that. So I just thought I'd call in. Like I don't have any inside information, and people were saying this about the bus and the, you know, cameras in the bus. I have no clue. I'm sure the police would have looked into that. I don't know. But, well,
I mean, that's just proof of life. The bus driver, once they drop the kids off, they pull off, so they're not going to see anything anyway. It ain't like the bus driver lives there, so the bus driver knows that kid was alive that day when he was dropped off. But far as any footage of the kids going missing or anything like that, they're not going to have that. And if the kids wasn't on the bus is not going to stop at their house when they drop them off. They're just going to keep going.
Well, the Rcmp did have dogs there, cadaver dogs, and they followed the scent, I guess, to the road, stopped at the road.
Are you sure they were cadaver dogs? Because according to the press conference, they said the first week they didn't have cadaver dogs. They had dogs. They didn't have cadaver dogs.
Well, from what I'm told is that they did have cadaver dogs there. Rcmp brought them in, one dog in, and the scent stopped at the road. So I don't know what that means. They're not saying much here, but like there's no police. There's no like I drove by today. There's nobody there as far as police. There's people in their driveway, so they're home, but there's no, like, they've stopped looking, and I don't understand. I think they've given up. Well, they've called it already, right? So
as far as the search, yeah. As far as investigation, I'm sure they're still investigating, because we know that because they just recently took the trail cam footages, so we know they're still investigating. But as far as searching, yeah, the search is over, I believe.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought I'd call in and just give you my thoughts on what I've seen in that, but I wish I knew more.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay, Shane. Well, it's a pleasure talking to you. You be good.
I love your channel. I follow you. Hopefully everybody's okay. It's just it's a sad thing what's going on here.
Absolutely.
It's very sad. But anyways, you have a good night.
All right. Peace. Okay, so that's Shane. He says he lives within 8 miles of the house. Now listen, I don't know how true that is. I don't know. It was Daniel sweaty. I mean, maybe he's in there working out. I don't know, but I don't see anywhere online that Daniel or anybody is trying to organize searches. All right. Let me say this. Let me jump over to the screen for a minute. Even in the Sebastian Rogers case, when the police stopped searching, Seth in the beginning did try to organize searches. He didn't do it for very long. Some people got in his ear and that all ended. But in the beginning, he was trying to organize searches. And you think a parent, when the police stopped searching for your kid, you would pick up and go, hey, I need the help of the community. You would get online. You'd start coming on these YouTube channels. We've seen every parent do it. Every parent comes onto YouTube and ask for help searching for their kid, that we're organizing searches. We need the community's help to find these kids because the police have given up on the search. We don't see Daniel doing that. We don't see malehya doing that. We don't hear nothing from his brother. We don't hear nothing from his mother. We don't hear nothing from Malehya's mother. We don't hear nothing from Malehya. Okay? All 4 of these people are suspicious as shit to me. They're the 4 prime suspects right now. They have to be until they're cleared. Okay? Now, until the Rcmp come out and say these family is victims, they absolutely have nothing to do with this case. Somebody else is responsible. We need to find those people. These people are going to stay my prime suspects. Now, let me say it again. Just because I believe you did something, don't mean you did. You could absolutely be innocent. So don't threaten these people, do anything to try to harm these people, harass these people, anything like that, because hey, we might not be right. They might not be suspects at all, but right now they are, and the police haven't cleared them. And the first people you have to clear in a missing kids case is the family. If the police wanted this speculation to stop, they need to do things to clear some of that speculation up, clear up some of these rumors. You know, they could come out and say, well, right now, we're not suspicious of them, or we vetted the parents and their story seems to add up. They haven't done that. Okay? And when you're silent, it only leaves room for speculation. When you don't clear nothing up, people make shit up. We're seeing that happen on the internet every day. These channels are making up things and they're clickbaiting and they're doing these things for views and to grow their channels. Speaking of growing channels, make sure you sub up, ring the bell for damn notifications, okay? Well, I'm going to start clickbaiting. Thank you, Tiffany. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. All right. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to be lying to you guys like that, right? Suspenseful titles, maybe, but far as lying on the internet and making shit up, all that does is create confusion, and it makes it harder for investigators to really investigate these things. Because when people hear stuff like that, you see people call my tip line and was leaving all kinds of crazy messages. Can you imagine what they're doing to the police in Nova Scotia? Well, psychic Donna Rever Serafina said that the kids are in a pumpkin patch. I guarantee you the police have got 700 calls to go check a pumpkin patch. I bet you money, right? I'm willing to bet on it, right? Hashtag free Karen Reed. You Kool-Aid drinking ass people, right? That Kool-Aid keep you up late, don't it, honeycomb? Keep you up. No, don't free Karen Reed. No. I'm at war with the free Karen Reed people, right? I'm at war with them. But I don't, whatever happens. No hard feeling if you believe Karen Reed should be free. I ain't mad at you. I do believe the police did a shitty job investigating. I still think Karen Reed did it, but I think the police dropped the ball a little bit in that investigation. They should have did a better job, and this would be a slam dunk for the prosecution. But since they did a shitty job, it's more like a alley oop, razzle dazzle. Okay, razzle dazzle. But we need answers for these kids, right? And when will they come? Like I said, if somebody abducted these kids, they got a good head start that the Mounties are just now looking at video footage. They're sitting back on their moose going, I see a car, eh? I'm just playing. Don't hate me, Canada. Don't hate me. I'm just joking. I'm just trying to make you laugh. Where are they at, right? Now, here's the thing. Everybody seems to think the kids are dead. But if there's a footprint, dead people don't usually make footprints, okay? So we got to have hope that these kids, whatever vehicle they got into that alive. You ever seen dead people making footprints? Usually, but we don't know if that footprint is old or new either. Because you got to remember, Jack and Lily, they played on that area all the time. So that footprint could have been old. It could have been new. I don't know. I just know this. I don't see a whole lot of dead people walking around. Okay. One footprint maybe. So if there's a footprint and it ends at the driveway, there's hope that these kids got in a car and they were alive. And if they're out there alive somewhere, somebody knows something. Search off. The police have info they haven't shared. They're closing in for sure, says Shannon. I believe that the police are trying to rule everything else out. I'm hoping. I'm being hopeful for the Mounties, right? I want them to succeed. I honestly, truly do. I'm wishing them luck. I wish they would. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm a better investigator, right? Or any of that stuff. Like some people hit me up and was like, "Dolly, you think you're smarter than the Canadian police?" I'm smart enough to know I'd have been looking for ring cameras and fucking videos day one. Okay, day one. It would have been 3 weeks later. Day one. Dolly had been knocking on doors going, "Hey, you got any video? You got ring cameras? You got any trail cams? You got any security on your house? Have you seen anything suspicious? What cars do you drive? Who's visited you? What kind of vehicles do they drive?" That's common. That's very common, especially in the United States. Okay, that's something our police do on day one. Day one, they do that shit. There's a little more transparency here too. Not much. Okay, it ain't just our police like to lie and not say shit. Okay, they'd be lying. Our police are talking and it'd be a lie. Okay, at least the Canadian police ain't lying. They just ain't saying shit. American police, they lie. They just like, yeah, no, we didn't see shit. And they'll have an eyewitness, you know what I'm saying? Know who the killer is. But they don't want to scare the public. Now, here's the thing. If there's somebody out there hurting kids or kidnapping kids, don't you think they should make that known to the public? But if you don't even show it on the media and major news outlets are not even covering it, how can you, there's other kids that could be in danger. Dolly, why didn't you say thank you to him for checking out there? Definitely thank you to Shane. Okay. Definitely. 8 minutes away. Yeah. I hope they are searching where the trash went. Now, Tiffany, like I said, I heard that they have this spring cleanup there in Nova Scotia and they send out trucks for bulk pickup. And I've had multiple people tell me that that is true. They do, but I don't know the situation where they live. Okay. Like here, like even in Savannah, Georgia, like Leilani had trash pickup at her house, but she took the baby to the dump. And some people have to pay for trash pickup. And when you don't pay for trash pickup, you got to go take your trash to the dump. Like I have a buddy that lives in the Outer Banks. Okay. And he don't have trash pickup. He has to load his trash up. I've been with him to take the trash. So I know you got to load the trash up and they have an area that's public that you go and you dump the trash. All right. And then they pick it up with trash trucks and take it up out of there. But they don't come and pick your can. Like my house, they come right out there and they pick the can up, throw it in the trunk, and then sling it in your yard. I don't know. They done tore up more of my trash cans than I can count. And they empty it. And the driver don't even fucking slow down. He goes by at like 100 miles an hour. Getting wheels, right? They don't give fucking, they sling trash everywhere. They don't get out and pick nothing up, right? You call for a bulk pickup, they make up every reason why they can't pick up your trash here. So it's crazy, right? I had to move my shit out almost into the center of the street one day to get them to pick it up. I was like, okay, if I keep edging this out into the street, they'll eventually get it, right? That's how they had to. I called for a boat pickup. They said it's too close to power lines. There ain't a power line in sight, right? So I was like, okay, so I moved the trash actually closer to the power lines and they picked it up. Okay. Make that make sense. Okay. And when you leave your trash for bulk pickup and they don't pick it up, they leave a note on your trash can that says call the city and your trash was too close to the power lines. But my trash cans sit right under the power lines. They always pick up the trash cans, no problem. They just don't want to get out the truck because they're lazy as hell. Okay. And I guess they don't get paid good enough to get the hell out the truck. So you got to damn near stand there when the trash man pulls up, looking at them, mugging them. Are you going to get that? You need me to load it up? Like, what do you need? You need some help with it? What? I mean, it's like that. I have literally stood out there and waited for the trash man. Like, you going to have to run me over to go by today. You know what I'm saying? Because you picking this shit up. And it be like that here. And I still go to the dump, right? Because I know if I put it out at the street, it's going to take them 3 months to pick it up. I ain't kidding. They'll let that shit sit out there till it just their moss growing off of it. They don't even care. Okay. You can call them. They'll be like, yeah, we'll get it. Vroom, you ever see the truck just drive right by that shit? Won't even slow down, right? Be doing like 75 miles an hour. Oh yeah, and they put our car in the middle of the driveway, so you have to stop and can't even enter your driveway. That's how it is here in Milwaukee too, right? And right? So and I don't know what they do, but they fucking body slam the cans back down. The wheels be popping off the can. You ever try to take your trash out and the wheels all wobbly and bent and shit because the trash man's like slammed the can down so hard? Virginia Beach ain't that bad, Nancy. Well, Chesapeake don't play. They ain't picking shit up, right? They ain't getting out the truck. And then when they do, they looking at you like you done did something wrong. Like, bitch, you getting paid to pick up the trash. Taxes are so high in the state of Virginia. I expect the damn trash to get picked up, okay? Because you pay stormwater, sewage, and trash here, right? Stormwater. What the fuck is stormwater? Why am I paying a stormwater bill? Okay? I don't control Mother Nature. How come you pay? Virginia, do y'all pay stormwater? Okay, we pay stormwater, sewage, and trash pickup in our taxes. What the fuck is stormwater? I still ain't figured that one out yet. Why do I gotta pay for stormwater? Anybody else? So they clean out the storm drains? What fucking I got a ditch in front of my house. Okay, I ain't never seen them clean it. I've never seen them clean it. Every tax bill I get, it says stormwater, sewage, and trash, right? And I'm thinking, what the fuck is stormwater? Okay, I gotta pay because it rains. Okay, it rains, and it costs you money because it rains here. I charge Mother Nature. Send that bill to her ass. Okay, I didn't tell her to fucking Virginia to be a hurricane zone. Okay, it has nothing to do with me. It's a rain tax. So that's what I'm saying. You got to pay for stormwater. I'm sitting around. So if it don't rain, do we still got to pay it? Okay, what if there's a drought? Right? There's been months that don't even rain at all, and I'm still paying stormwater. Okay, there ain't been a fucking storm. Okay, I can't even get my plants are dying. There ain't been no rain, but yet I'm paying a fucking stormwater bill. Okay, you'd pay to have rain there. I'm just saying. Ask any Virginian. It's stormwater. I'm like, what the fuck is stormwater? What does that got to do with me? Okay, if taxes ain't high enough, they make up shit. Okay, send that to God. Okay. Just address it heaven, okay? Put it and drop it in the mailbox. Send him the bill. Maybe he'll pay it. Maybe he won't. I don't know. Maybe he'll make it rain less. So I've never seen them clean out a fucking anything here. Yet my taxes are high as hell. You get a stormwater fee too, Roxy? That's some bullshit right there, okay? That is some old bullshit. I call bullshit on that one. And maybe that's why these parents flipped out. They probably got a stormwater bill and they live in the middle of nowhere and they're like, oh, stormwater, what the hell? Razzle dazzle, right? Southern Indiana, we have to pay fire hydrant tax. What? Fire hydrant? Let my shit burn, okay? What the fire hydrant tax? See what I mean? It's that fake make up some shit tax, right? You know, they sent me a bill for we at one point this house had well water. Okay, it had a the cleaning things and the well water, but I don't really like well water, so I switched it over to city water. So they sent me a bill for like $3,000. Okay, because I had well water for a few years, and I was like, y'all have made some mistake. I don't have water. I use well water. What is this $3,000 bill for? They were like maintaining the water line, $75 a month. And I was like, what? They were like, yeah, that's for us to maintain your line. Maintain? What the fuck you mean maintain my line? I was like, listen, I got telephone lines ran at my house. I don't have a telephone hooked up at my house. I've never one time had a telephone company send me a bill saying, hey, you owe me money for us having a telephone line ran to your house. Never, right? There's cable wires ran to my house. Now I got Fios, right? Cox Cable don't send me a bill, right? But they ended up knocking the bill down, right? But they try to charge. Listen, you could have city water. My city water bill now is less than $75 a month. Okay, they send it to you every 3 months. It's usually around $150, somewhere around there, if we wash a lot of clothes. And I was thinking to myself, you're going to charge me a water bill because I use free water from a well. Okay. Oh, hell nah. Oh, hell nah. So they're sending me all these bills and we're going to send you to collections and shit for water I never used. For water I never used. We have a well on the property. I have both, but I always use city water. I don't like well water, less maintenance just to go with the city water. And but when I first moved in, for the first few years, I just used the well water. I never had it switched over. But the house is set up for city water or well water. but the water wasn't turned on. But how are you going to bill somebody when you ain't using it? Right? What did y'all come dig up my yard and check on the pipe? To maintain the line. What the fuck y'all do? Right? That's what I mean about these invisible fees. I know that's squirrel and off topic. I don't know if y'all got that in Canada. Y'all got free healthcare and shit. We ain't got nothing free here. If it rains, it costs you. Okay. Do you pay when it rains? We do. I don't know about y'all, but they don't do shit, and they half-ass do their job, and they bill you for everything. The city water and well water, city water smells like Clorox to me. Yeah, but I don't drink it. Okay. And well water sometimes gets a little rusty, or, it'll stain like your nice white tub. So, or it clogs up pipes and things like that from rust and different sediment and shit in it. And I never really liked that. You know how you get that little brown, you got well water, you'll get that brown little stain on your bathtub, and then you in there cleaning the bathtub and you scrubbing that shit for like 3 hours. Never like that. City water don't do that.
We pay for air too.
We pay for air. Yeah, they selling air in the cans now. You can literally go to Walmart and buy a can of air. Now, I ain't talking about air duster for your computer, like how you blow stuff off. I mean air that you breathe. They're literally selling oxygen in the can. You can't make that up. Like, they charge you $4 for a bottle of water. $4 for a bottle of fucking water. You can buy a gallon of gasoline cheaper than you can buy a bottle of water. That's insane. Okay. They're selling us water that belongs to us. This planet belongs to each and every one of us. That water is already ours. They're selling you something that belongs to you. Okay. Imagine somebody walked in your house and grabbed your TV and said, look, I'll sell you this TV. You'd be like, bitch, that's my TV. But if you want to watch Netflix on it, you're going to have to pay me. Okay. Right. So it's the same thing with the water. We own this. This planet belongs to each and every one of us. Right. We inhabit this planet together. Everything is ours. The water belongs to us. And then they bottle it and sell it to us for $4 a bottle. Now they're doing it with the air. So soon you're going to have to pay to breathe. Okay. You're going to have to literally pay to breathe. And that shit is insane. So this is off topic as hell, right? This whole part of this has been off topic. But I'm going to go with one more thing that's off topic. Has anybody been watching that show on Netflix, Black Mirror? Anybody watch it? Raise your hand in here. I watched the episode last night where this girl got into a car. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone, right? It's kind of like the Twilight Zone. She had like some problem with her and they needed to remove a piece of her brain, but there was this company that would do the surgery for free and they would put a new piece of brain in her, but it was like, it had to work on like a Wi-Fi signal. Yes, y'all, have y'all seen this? Okay. So her husband has to pay for this. And then there's a subscription fee with it of $300 a month. Right. And this is crazy. This shit tripped me out last night. Cause to me, for some reason, it seems like this is where the world is going. Right. Great episode, money. So in the episode, at first she gets the regular plan so she can be alive and she can be in her neighborhood, right? And do a normal life. She don't die because she was going to die without it. Okay. So at first she gets it and they tell her it's the basic plan. So randomly she just starts saying commercials, right? Like out her mouth while she's talking and shit. Then she'll break into a commercial like, church, this Church's Fried Chicken, get a 12 piece for $9.99, right? So she starts having commercials, right? And so they take her back to the doctor and she's like, yo, all of a sudden I'm just saying commercials. And they're like, yeah, you got the basic brain plan. Okay. So, yeah, she has ad breaks, right? So she's paying $300 a month, but her brain comes with ad breaks. So she just starts doing ads. They were like, well, you can upgrade and you can go farther out and travel and you won't have commercials. But that's an extra $800, and you got to pay the $3 on top of that of the basic plan, and then you won't have commercials, right? So they don't make that much money, so they can't afford it. So what they're doing is they're buying little bonus cards so she can not have commercials for like 12 hours a day. So then she's sleeping 16 hours a day, and she goes back to the doctor, and they tell her, they were like, well, look, you can get the platinum plan, but that's $1,000 plus the 800. And then you won't sleep all day. You won't have commercials, right? So eventually her husband kills her, right? Because they can't afford her. They can't afford her. And it reminds me like Alexis, you know, now, like, you know, if you got the basic Netflix, remember when you spent the $10 on Netflix or Hulu or Prime or something like that, you could watch the movies. But now that's the basic plan. You get commercials, right? With your Hulu, your Prime, your, all that, right? And no, I'm not talking about that. I can talk about whatever I want on my show. This ain't got nothing to do with the kids. But now when you have the basic plan, you get commercials with all your movies, right? So, but when you signed up for it, you only did it because you didn't want to watch commercials, right? Just like on here on YouTube. For all you guys that think Dolly got too many commercials, blame it on YouTube. I started paying $9.99 for the premium YouTube package. Okay. Now it's $17.99, right? It keeps going up, right? Now they're trying to sell you YouTube TV. YouTube, like if you don't want commercials, you don't have to watch commercials. You can pay whatever it is. It's different prices in different places. Nobody likes them commercials. So when I watched that show, which is way off topic of what we're talking about, Black Mirror, it reminded me of what we're dealing with now. But, you know, I was just thinking, okay, that's, you know, that is so the world we live in. It's like that. Now, what you thought was the platinum plan is basically the basic plan. Then you got to upgrade. And then as soon as you upgrade, you got to upgrade again. A commercial just came on. See what I mean? I'm assuming they would post it if it wasn't correct. I got the ad free. I paid $10.99 a month, no commercials on YouTube. I thought I paid $10.99 a month too, but I can swear the last bill I got was $17.99. I'm not positive, but I think it was. Well, one of my memberships was $17.99. I don't know. I keep upgrading everything. Like I upgraded my YouTube. I upgraded Prime. And it's just a way to get you for more money. Right? Like they're like, oh, well, you can enjoy your movie after 9 commercials. Has anybody seen that on Prime yet? Watch ad free after 9 commercials. 17 minutes later, your movie finally starts. You pay $17.99. See, I think it's different prices, different places. Right? And then somebody said, I pay $13.99 a month and I love it. I listen to music and I can listen to YouTube and shop and work on the same time. See, so it's different depending on where you're at. So if you haven't watched that, and if you was a big fan of the Twilight Zone, Black Mirror is a lot like a modern day Twilight Zone. So if you ain't checked that out on Netflix yet, they should give me a free subscription for plugging these shows that I do. I'm always plugging their true crime stuff. And, you know, like I said, that is a lot like the Twilight Zone. Okay. I can't find it. This is misinformation. What is misinformation? That is misinformation. $11.99 ad free MO. Okay. You still watch the Twilight Zone? Get rid of Netflix. It went from $5.99, $8.99, $9.99, $12.99 to $18. That's what I'm saying. And that was the kind of what the Black Mirror show was about last night, but it was more like a brain surgery, and they had to have, you know, a service with it. And the service kept going up to where they couldn't afford it anymore. And if you don't pay it, you get all these commercials, right? And I was just thinking, that is wild. Like, it's a modern day Twilight Zone is what it is. And there ain't nothing new on there. Yeah, like, Netflix has been a little disappointing lately. You gotta kind of like, it used to be Netflix had everything, and then Prime came, and then there's Hulu, and then there's Paramount, and then there's all these other pay. You got to kind of have them all. And time you do that, you're paying more than you were paying with the cable bill. Time you pay the internet, time you play Netflix, time you pay this app, that app. You're paying more than you used to pay for cable with the premium package. When you had HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, remember those days? Them shits are gone. That's history. All right. You pay more now than all of it. Like, it's like, then you got the damn sports stuff and the UFC premium, ESPN premium. It's insane. All right. Now, I know I went way off topic, but we talked about the kids for a good 2 hours. I just wanted to touch base on some of that stuff, gives me something else to talk about with you guys. I got it all and cable. Okay. Well, you rich, you can't hide money. Okay. You can't hide money. That just shows you got more money than I do. I'm sitting here looking through my bills like, damn. Okay. I'm going to stop watching TV. I'm going to take the shit out of my house. Get rid of Alexa, all right? Because all she does is every time I ask her to play something, she hits me with 75 commercials and then gives me my answer, okay? It used not to be like that. It used to be a commercial here and there, wasn't that bad. Now, every time you like Alexa, she's like, you can save $10 on your car insurance by calling Progressive. I'm like, damn, shut up. I don't want to save no damn money on my car insurance. So, what's up? Have they found those babies? Long story short, no. Nothing really big has came out. The only thing that's new is basically they have footage, and we don't know what that footage contains, right? And I believe, they've dropped the ball a lot. I think they've dropped the ball a lot. And for 3 weeks, we've had 4 suspects. Them 4 suspects are the same 4 suspects. Nobody knew yet. And are we going to get anything? There's no scheduled press conferences. Elevated Truth said, what's up, Dolly Vision in chat? What is up, Elevated Truth? Not a whole lot here, man. Just getting ready to get out of here. I've been here 2 hours talking about the same old shit. Nothing, nothing crazy. So with that said, it's time for Dolly to go. I'm going to go watch me some of that damn Black Mirror and eat me some cookies. I guess that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to bed, wake up about noon. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If anything happens, anything new breaks, just go ahead, send it over to my Facebook. And I will check it out. Did you go to the P.O. box? No, we didn't make it to the P.O. box. I believe we will go Tuesday. So Tuesday, I will be at the P.O. box. All right. We got tied up. Off topic. PJ was going to go to the P.O. box, but she was like, Jimmy, the car is a little low on oil. Will you put some oil in the car? And I said, yeah, babe, I got you. So I take the car to the store. I buy a quart of oil. I take off the cap. I pour the oil in there. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the damn cap back on. So she gets up the next morning, drives the car to work. Oil is spraying out of the car. All right. She's like, the car is running like shit and it's smoking really bad. I said, well, pop the hood and turn on the camera. Right. So she turns on the camera and I look and I didn't put the damn oil cap on the car. And I'm like, damn, my bad. I was like, look, don't drive the car anywhere. I'll get an oil cap and I'll come put some oil in the car and fix it. Right. So the thing, what I didn't realize was nobody sells a fucking oil cap these days. You ever try to buy one? All right. So I call every auto parts store humanly possible. All right. Nope. Don't got it. Don't got it. Don't got it. Don't got it. Right. Because I got like a little Chevy Cruze. Nobody got that shit. Right. So finally, I call like an O'Reilly's that's like 30 miles from here. And they're like, yeah, we got one in stock. And I was like, well, can you check and make sure you have it in stock before I drive way out there? I could have called a junkyard, possibly a junkyard, but that afternoon was I going to be able to find one at a junkyard. So finally, I get a hold of an O'Reilly. Shout out to O'Reilly's. And they're like, yeah, I'll check and see if I got it. Junkyard, man. All right. Hindsight's 2020. All right. So finally, the guy comes back and says, yes, I have it in my hand. So I jump in the car, me and Wrangler, the dog. He needed to go for a ride. He ain't been out in a ride in a while. So I take me and Wrangler, get in the car. We drive all the way to this damn O'Reilly's. I buy some oil. I buy the gas cap. Not gas cap, but the oil cap. So I drive up to her work. I put it on. By then, it's traffic, time traffic. It's all crazy and shit. And it just slipped my mind. All right. That's a long story to say, yeah, I bought an oil cap and put it on the car. But I put the oil in the car, put the cap on it, cleaned up some of the spilled oil that sprayed out the engine while she was driving with no oil cap on, and went my ass back home. So Tuesday, PJ works and she'll stop and grab it. So I appreciate it and I'm looking forward to it. And when I get it, I'll make sure I open it up here live. All right. So I appreciate it, Elevated Truth. And just remember, people, when you put oil in your car, make sure you put the oil cap back on. Don't be a big dumb like Dolly. Now I tell you I'm an idiot all the time, right? I just like my bad, right? That's what I said. Oops. Right? I was thinking, what'd she do to the car? I just put oil in it. I checked the fluids. Everything was good. Don't be Dolly at home, okay? Or when you go to the store or ever. Don't ever be Dolly anywhere ever. You don't want to do it. It's dangerous. Thank goodness it didn't blow the engine. Exactly. But it, believe it or not, even with the cap off, it didn't spill. It only lost a quart of oil. It still had 3 quarts in it. It was good. But it was all over the engine and all over the hood. Like, you know, the top part of the hood, when I opened the hood, it was dripping down. And I was like, okay, let me get some rags, clean this up. And I put the new cap on it, and she's good to go. She's still kicking. So you guys be good. Y'all stay safe. If anything changes in this case, make sure y'all drop it in my inbox. Let me know first off. You hear any crazy rumors, anything like that, let me know. Okay. And if you're batshit crazy out there, don't leave messages on my phone. Okay. Check your insanity before you leave a message. Look in the mirror and be like, am I crazy? And if the answer is no, don't call me, because you're talking to yourself in the mirror. That's the first sign you're crazy. Okay. If you're answering yourself, you're fucking crazy. Don't call me. All right. Anybody else, you good to go. Remember this. Nobody else does. Dolly loves you. Peace.